The 2023 season is right around the corner, so I am bringing you 4 breakouts and busts for your redraft fantasy football leagues. The first guy on my list is wide receiver DK Metcalf. Metcalf is a breakout for me in the 2023 season, and here is why. Now, of course, we know the first couple things that we have to be concerned about. Geno Smith, is he who he was in 2022? Is he going to regress? That is a question that we need to find out the answer to, and we will shortly. The next question is, how is he going to handle the addition of Jackson Smith-Njigba to this Seahawks offense? He's obviously going to take some targets, but let's break this down as we look at DK specifically. So last season, he saw a career high 141 targets. He led the NFL in red zone targets. And when we look at what the impact of Jackson Smith-Njigba is to DK, it's really probably not that big of a deal. Jackson Smith-Njigba is way more likely to compete for the Tyler Lockett role in this offense. He is not the downfield, take the top off the defense, big threat, touchdown, red zone hawk like a DK Metcalf. Right now, when you look at where DK Metcalf's being drafted, he is a huge value. He's, like I said, my breakout wide receiver. He is a dark horse to be the wide receiver 1 overall in 2023 if he can have some regression in the positive direction with his touchdowns, where he saw a career low last season. And I have him as my wide receiver 7 heading into 2023. Go all in on DK Metcalf in your drafts in 2023. The second guy I've got on my list is John Metchie, another wide receiver, but he is a breakout for me as well. Now, John Metchie is a young wide receiver for the Houston Texans, but really, we haven't seen him in the NFL. When we look at what Metchie was as a prospect, he was my wide receiver 5 of his class. He's a refined route runner. He has a really high football IQ. He's aggressive at the catch point. He has good body control overall. And coming out of Alabama, he was one of the exciting wide receiver talents. And I think we're going to see him make an immediate impact, because when you look at the Texans depth chart, he's really competing with Nico Collins, Xavier Hutchinson, who's a rookie I really believe in. But ultimately, there's a lot of question marks when it comes to the pass catchers. Dalton Schultz might be one of the guys who he's competing with the most. So I look at 2023 as an opportunity for John Metchie to not only lead this team in targets at the wide receiver position, but lead this team in targets as a whole. So I think John Metchie, in his first season actually playing in the NFL, is going to be a huge breakout. Okay, I've got 2 more players for you, and the first one is Jerry Jeudy. I have Jerry Jeudy as a bust. And let me already hear all of your boos. Drop your comments below complaining about it, because I'm here to plant my flag that Jerry Jeudy is going to bust in 2023. In underdog ADP, he's going right around wide receiver 21, and everyone thinks this is the breakout, this is the breakout, this is the breakout for Jerry Jeudy. But one of the things you have to understand is when you look at this offense, everyone else in this offense, every other offensive weapon is kind of being cast aside as a non-factor, and that's just not going to be the case. I don't think Jerry Jeudy is leaps and bounds better than a Courtland Sutton, even if I do think he is better than Courtland Sutton. Greg Dulcich is a guy who a lot of people have as a sleeper tight end. Well, he's not going to be a sleeper tight end if he's not going to demand a high target volume at the tight end position. It's just not how the tight end position works. You know, they've got Marvin Mims, they've got a number of players here who can make an impact, and there's questions of what Russell Wilson is. And that's not even counting Jerry Jeudy's questions. When you look at Jerry Jeudy, the big thing coming out of college is he is this elite, phenom, freak route runner, and he is a good route runner, sure. But what we've seen thus far in the NFL is that his route running has been largely over accounted for. When you look at reception perception, you can see that Jerry Jeudy's largely like a meh player as a route runner. He's good. He's not, going to make a lot of mistakes. He's giving you these highlight plays that people like to focus on and throw on Twitter and throw on YouTube and things like that, because he does some really interesting moves as a route runner, especially with his head movement. But ultimately, Jerry Jeudy is an average with upside route runner. And so that being his best quality brings a lot of questions to what he's going to be able to do week in and week out for the Denver Broncos, for your fantasy team. There's just so many questions with Jerry Jeudy that I think wide receiver 21 might be closer to his ceiling in 2023. And I think really, if you're investing in Jerry Jeudy in a redraft league, you're looking for a floor play, and a lot of people right now are thinking that he's going to far surpass that wide receiver 21 ADP, and I just do not see a clear and consistent route to him doing that. The last guy I want to talk about is Dameon Pierce. If you know me at all, you know that I have been largely a Dameon Pierce naysayer, a Dameon Pierce doubter, and ultimately, he had some really nice weeks last season, and I thought for a minute, maybe I'm wrong. But when you dive into what he did and where he was successful, There's a lot of things to be concerned about with Dameon Pierce. The Texans added Devin Singletary, and you might think Devin Singletary is not that special. He's much better than anything Dameon Pierce had to compete with last season. And honestly, when you look at who they are as runners and as running backs, as a comprehensive player to a backfield, they're not that different. The two things that they need to do well for fantasy is, or the three things I should say, is they need to score touchdowns, they need to be involved in the passing game, and for these players specifically, they've shown they need volume. When you look at touchdown opportunity, the Texans aren't going to give them that. When you look at what they do on the passing downs, it's fairly similar. I don't think one player is going to get the edge on passing downs, so they could be rotating quite a bit. And then, of course, volume. They're going to cannibalize each other's volume quite a bit in this offense, and you're just looking at players who at running back 16, 17, 18 in Dameon Pierce, you're just really hoping that somehow he just beats out Devin Singletary, and I don't think that that is a sure thing. So Dameon Pierce is a bust for me. I am all out on him for 2023. Drop your comments below. I will get to any and everything I can. Don't forget to be kind, do good, and I'll see you next time. Peace.